So hello, welcome stamp collectors, this is Glenn, and in today's video we're looking at the colonial stamps of Queensland. So the first colonial stamps of Queensland were issued in 1860, and that was after the separation from New South Wales, which happened on the 10th of December 1859, and all these stamps have one monarch on them. So the thing about colonial Australian stamps is after 1901, when Queen Victoria, who is on these stamps, passed away, her image was used on all stamps up until 1910, when they were actually pretty much stopped printing, and were still used up until 1913, when Australia issued the first stamps of King George V and the Australia and kangaroo stamps. So here we have pretty much a very nice selection that represents most of the actual stamps that were actually issued for Queensland. So the top ones I have, the earliest stamps that I have to show. The early ones before 1882, when these were introduced, had the front-facing stamp. So this is the actual side-facing stamp, and the front-facing stamp is an earlier ones, but they were also printed later. And if we have a look at this stamp here, the 1 penny, and the 1 penny is the most common stamp because it's the price of postage. You can see it has a nice effigy, and this one's cancelled, and this one has a value of about $1. So there would have been quite a lot of printed. Yep, look, it's been tagged on the back. So sorry, just had to rearrange it, and that tag is actually called a hinge. It's the way they used to actually put stamps in albums. Then there's the 2 pence, and that also has the value of the 1 pence. So these are about $1 each in their used condition. If you want an unused one, you're talking about probably about $10. So, and as you can see, I have the orange red and the scarlet. So there's 2 different versions. There is no price differential between both of those. And this issue goes up initially in 1882 to 1 shilling, and then you have other issues that increase in value, and the higher in denomination you actually go, the more valuable the actual stamp becomes. So the 2 shilling, you're paying probably at least $15, and that was issued starting from 1887. Yeah, and then we have a purple 1 shilling, 1894. It decreased in price to about $10, and they're just really a common stamp. In 1895, along with this issue, they issued the half-penny stamp, and here I have the darker version. So let's see. Yeah, so that's the darker version of the stamp. It's got half-penny, not Elizabeth, Victoria, and it's got the value at the top. And Queensland is actually named after Queen Victoria because she was a queen, so it's the Queensland. And this stamp here, the darker one, has a value of about $2 in unused and hinged. Yeah, see, a lot of these older stamps, you'll find that they're actually hinged. There's nothing much you can do about it. It's pretty much part of the stamp now. And here I have another version of the stamp with a lighter colour, issued at the same time, 1895 to 96. This half-penny is actually a bit more valuable. This one costs about $3 or $4 because it has a less print, and you can get them in perforations of 12 to 13 and anywhere in between. So that is a variability. Look, and see if it's actually hinged here. And oh damn, dropped it. And if we look at the watermark, so all these stamps have watermarks. So the watermark looks like it is a 0 crown. Looks like a 0. Looks like 10 actually. So that's a watermark. Let's have a look at the watermark on this one. And the watermark is a good feature to see if the stamp is actually counterfeit or not. There are issues that actually don't have a watermark. So you can see on this stamp, it's actually hard to see the actual watermark on it. So that is also a problem. With the darker ink, it is harder to actually see the watermark on the actual stamp. So far, we have in these two, the value is probably about $6 or $7, and the dollar each for those, so $8. So they're not really that hard to get. But if you get one with a lot of ink on it, like this one, it will reduce the value by quite a lot. A lot of stamp collectors like to get stamps that have not been used, or if it's been used, they like ones with a good date on it. So the next lot you can see here, pretty much the same as the previous ones, but the main difference is that the denomination, it doesn't have the numeral 2. So here's the earlier version. There is no numeral 2, and here we have 2 in the corner. So this one has the value as a numeral in each of the corners. And these ones are first issued in 1896 as a cinnabar colour 1 penny coin. So that looks cinnabar. And that one has a value of about $1.50 in unused. And there is the halfpenny. So the halfpenny has a value of about $10. So it's more valuable because it wouldn't have been used that much. The 1 penny was the postage that you could use around the UK, the British Empire, and a halfpenny would have been attached to probably one of these values to make up for a value based probably on weight on a parcel, not really a letter. So these ones go up into the value of 2 shillings. And the 2 shilling one is actually pretty expensive, about $50. So the 1 penny, yeah, about 50 cents for those because they have been used. And they're actually just very common. A 2 penny is also the same value, a blue, has a lot of ink on it. And this one looks like it says Brisbane. What a lot of collectors like is a well scented. Then we have the brown threepence. That has a value of about $5 in this condition. Maybe a little bit less because it's not clean. And the green sixpence, yeah, probably about $3 or $4 in that condition. Then you got the shilling, yeah, which is about $5, and 2 shilling is what you would be looking for if you're actually getting this set based on value. And these stamps were used with different perforations, so I will make a video one day about perforations on stamps. It's quite interesting. And the highest value issued in this was actually the £1, and that was in 1907 they started issuing those to replace the other previous £1 and denominations. But that's has a value of at least $200. Not a very common stamp. Most people wouldn't have actually sent packages with a postage of £1. So in 1899, they issued these 2 halfpenny stamps. So these are issued just by themselves and not as an actual group, as we have seen with the other stamps. And these are dark green, halfpenny. As you can see, this one's actually been cut off center. This one's on center, and this one has a value of in use of about $3, but in unused condition you're talking about $5. So as you can see, with the 1 and the 2, you're missing some ink as well. So that's also another thing to see. But that's not very uncommon on these type of stamps. So one of my favourite stamps is this one. Why do I like it? Because it is reddish brown and ultramarine blue. So two different colours that really, it's totally different. So they pretty much clash, and you can see the distinguishing. This is one of the earliest stamps that I've seen that's actually multicoloured. And another good thing is that they both have dates. This one has 11th of Feb 1911, 19th of December 1908. And it's Warwick. And I can't read that one. Queensland. So this is something that a lot of collectors are actually looking for. A date and where it was actually posted. And if you see the actual stamp, we have Queensland, Western Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, South Australia, New South Wales. And it has the date when the state was, or the colony was actually proclaimed. And this stamp represents the Federation of Australia. So you've got a Commonwealth, that means Commonwealth of Australia. You have, justice in the scales there, and a hat. And I'm not too sure what that actually represents. 9 pennies. And these stamps in this condition cost about $6 to $7. So they're actually quite a nice stamp to actually get. And there is 2 different versions. There's the 2 different watermarks on these stamps. So let's have a look at, see if we can actually see the watermark. And these are pretty unique. Okay, let's see if we can see the watermark. No. See, the watermark feature is not fully developed. And curious thing is that watermarks actually developed in the 1790s in France, because they're on the French banknotes of the actual time. And I don't see I don't have a catalogue, so I'm not too sure what I'm actually looking for there. I presume I'm looking for a crown or initials, QLD, Queensland, or denomination, or just various other aspects, and that's what I need to find. But I'm pretty sure the watermark is Queensland. So anyway, this is my video on Queensland stamps. They're actually quite nice, and a lot of them are affordable in the lower values. So do 2 pence and 1 penny. Even this one, $5. In Australia, that is only 15 minutes work. $5. And especially the 9 pennies, they're actually quite a nice stamp to actually get. Thank you very much. I'll leave a link down to eBay so you can actually see if there's any nice stamps for you to purchase, and have an awesome stamp collecting time. Thank you and goodbye.